Yep, I'm here. Let's go. Hold on. I gotta fix that. I'm here, y'all. I'm here. Waiting for some more people to come on in. Come on in. Well, interesting. Week 10. We saw a bunch of rig shit, a lot of crazy shit, right? Buffalo Bills? I can't put the laughing on Tampa Bay. I mean, it wasn't an upset. Could have went either way. Can't say no. For everybody that was high on the Cleveland Browns, 49ers, shit like that. Shit like that. A lot of people thought the Giants was gonna win. Well, members, how did we do this weekend? Let's see. How did we do this weekend? I think we went pretty well, right? I would think so. My music for that. I mean, this weekend, starting on Saturday, Ohio State with the plus 15 and a half. Iowa with the plus 5.5. Then we come for today, NFL. Let me just start. My favorite game that I did send out to the members was Tampa Bay versus New England Patriots. Right? Unfortunately, Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost.
Are you fucking serious?
Moving on. Chicago Bears. We got that. The Ravens. We got that. The Rams. We got that. I gave out for everybody. I gave out the New Orleans Saints with the plus 5.5. They won straight up. Only game we got left is the Packers tomorrow. Packers money line tomorrow. Oh, they go against Philadelphia Eagles. So, to make a long story short, we did good. We only lost one game, members. Only lost one. So, like, if you're somebody that parlayed every single thing you saw on the ticket, of course you lost. But if you bet solo games, like you just took the picks, but you bet solo games, You should be doing real nice once again this weekend. You should be up. You should be up a lot of units, as a matter of fact. Right? 1-1, probably lost the game, then got back, then got that back, then got that. You should be up some units right now. So, I mean, the show don't be about that, but I gotta make sure we always win. That's the whole point. We have to be on the winning streak here. I don't care. I want my guys to be on the winning streak. And that's how it's gonna have to be all the time. I do not care. So yes, we had another successful week. The proof is in the pudding, y'all. Y'all see it. Right? You can ask the members. Track record solid, right? There's no way you can have all this knowledge and you sitting there losing games and shit. Right? So if I had a little funny parlay that I had showed you guys. I was just curious about how that one was gonna go, and I lost because of Tampa Bay, but Iowa hit, Penn State hit, and I told y'all about the Saints. I told y'all the Saints was gonna win. Y'all ain't want to listen. And, the Saints hit just that Tampa Bay, which we all thought was gonna be a for sure thing. It didn't happen, right? That was the only parlay. But now, as far as like the solo bets, every single game I sent out, I bet myself. So I'm not gonna sit there and give things out. I'm not even doing it myself. So that's the reason why I'm saying we should have had a successful week, all of us as a whole unit, because we should be up something very good. We only lost one game. Once again, great track record. But with all that being said, y'all, right? Shout out to my chat. I'm gonna get to you guys, right? For the few people that is here, right? Yeah, the Jets. Yeah, the Jets. Yes. I wanted to pick that game so bad because I kept telling everybody, Mark, I have this thing, Mark, where I say, yo, Dylan Gabriel's gonna have to do bad or so in order to justify putting Shador Sanders in, right? Because if they keep winning, there's no need to put Shador Sanders in the game. So yeah, we already talked, since we're talking about week 10, we might as well just start off with that Jets game, right? So which was, I was surprised. I didn't want to touch the game or give it out or anything like that. Yes, the Jets become 2-7 too. For anybody that's watching, that's wondering why Mark said 2-7, is because I have a thing. What matter of fact, it's supposed to be on the screen. There you go. I have a thing with the number 14. I discovered that the number 14 is something very important in sports and in politics. So now that I figured it out, I share it with the world. Anybody that rocks with me knows when I figure out information, I share it. I don't gatekeep it. That's what I did when a lot of people was introduced to me. First heard about me when I exposed the whole Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Rams. That whole thing. Why the Kansas City Chiefs have their success, right? I could have kept all that information, but I wanted to put it out for people to understand. This is why the success is going on. Like a lot of heavy things and a lot of big storylines, I like to let people know, right? So 14 is a big deal this year, and I'm just letting people know, about the number 14. Watch out for it. You can actually take advantage of it. You can win money, or you can just have a better understanding on what's going to happen in these games, right? Um, certain stats to look for. Now, let me say this too. Don't just think that the number 27 is going to work 1,000% of the time, because there may be other numbers involved, right? This is not a whole this is not a gematria episode or anything like that. I'm not into that. I'm not against anyone that does that, but I'm not into that. I'd rather sit and listen to the people that's saying that stuff, and dissect my own information, and I go about it from there. But I'm more of a like straight up person. Like, I see it, it's in my face, and I'm just gonna let the world know about number 14. And 14 is a number that pops up a lot, which is why I did a show. Not even a show. I did a couple of them, but I told people don't be surprised if we get a 1 versus 4 seed in the Super Bowl. If not, you can pay attention to a 2 versus 2. That's for the 4 alone, because 4 tends to keep popping up as well too, not just 14, but 4 also is like an important number. Something's going on with these fours, right? But anyway, so the 1 versus 4, that's a seed to watch out for this year in the Super Bowl. 2 versus 2, um, uh, 2 versus 7, which you saw what Mark just put, right? 2 versus 7, and last but not least, a 7 versus a 7. Now, a 7 versus a 7, I put that last because we all know that could be a stretch unless the NFL has it to where the two teams that they want to go and battle it out in the Super Bowl is doing bad to the point where they just like run through the playoffs, right? And then now they're both in the championship. So those are the those are the seeds that I'm actually looking at come playoff time. That's why I pay attention to every game now. Who can be in 1? Who 2, 3, 4, 5, blah blah blah, 6, 7. You guys get the picture. I don't have to let you know, right? So that's what that's about. So I just tell people just pay attention to the number 14. I'm gonna keep telling you that every time y'all watch this live. I'm gonna keep telling you that so you can get tired of it all you want.
Are you fucking serious?
Because one thing you can say, it has been working so far, right? It has been working so far. We've seen 1 and 4 pop up with streaks, 4 and 1 pop up with streaks, 2 and 7, or 7 and 2 when it comes to streaks. And y'all don't remember. No, that was this year about the 7 and 2. Last year I kept telling people about the 7 and 1, what usually happens. And not for nothing though, it actually stretches to 2. I forgot to tell you that. Usually when somebody's on a 7-game winning streak, on the 8th game they lose, right? But then people would bet and think that they're gonna go back on the winning streak. They end up losing again, so they end up in their last 9 games going 7 and 2. I forgot to let people know about that, but that's another one you can pay attention to, and it could be reversed 2 and 7, right? But that was something last year I forgot to mention when it comes to sports. That is, it could, mainly basketball and no shit, all of them: hockey, baseball, basketball, and football. Matter of fact, right? But that's another show for another time. But the Jets, the Jets did what they were supposed to do according to the streak. Now, now not the streak, but their record. Next week we have some interesting games coming up. That's why I wanted to have a live with you guys, and I needed to know your opinion on this. I'm kind of torn in between a certain game that I do like. We're gonna talk about it, but because I always tell people every game has a lot to do with each other. Stop watching this one game and thinking it's a standalone game. No, it's going to be involved with the other games some way, somehow. It's going to affect the division some way, somehow. Maybe not them. It could be the team that's right behind them or the team that's in 3rd place in that division. Every game has a lot to do with each other, and we're gonna get to that game that I'm not gonna say is my favorite game, but a game that I really like, and I'm just trying to figure out how that's gonna affect everything, right? But the Jets did what they were supposed to do. Now we got to ask ourselves this question: is Shador Sanders going to come in? Because let's be for real, Shador Sanders will play this year. I'm calling it. I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way too. But they're holding him out on purpose. This is it's a money thing. I remember they did that to Baker Mayfield at one time. But I forgot when Baker Mayfield finally came in and played. But they know damn well they should have had started him. But they was like, oh, they had somebody else start, and he was like the 3rd string or some shit like that. Right? Then he comes in and I guess the rest is Baker Mayfield became a starter. But I think they're holding out on Shador Sanders on purpose. On purpose. I don't think this is it's gonna stay like that. They're gonna put him in. They're gonna have to do a quarterback change. It's part of the storyline, people. For everyone that don't believe that, I'm sorry, but you know that it's part of the storyline. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And Mark just said something very interesting because I ain't gonna lie, last week I kind of felt that way. I didn't think it was gonna happen. You probably think that's gonna happen, right? It's possible. I would love to see this happen. But if you want to make things interesting that week, you might as well have, like Mark says right here in the chat, and I 1000% agree with him. For everybody that's in the chat, just watch what he said. He says, I see the Browns versus the Ravens. Sanders might play that game. What you guys think about that? Because honestly, I kind of feel, to me, that makes sense for ratings, and also for the fact that, well, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Earlier this year, they kept talking about how Shador should have been drafted to the Ravens. That's all you kept hearing. Am I making that up, or is that true? That happens to be true, right? So we kept hearing that since, oh, he was supposed to be a Raven, or right, and then they switch up to, okay, he should have been a Raven, right? But it's like, okay, when are you gonna play? Because the same situation that you're in right now, you will be going through with Lamar. With Lamar. And the only reason why you would get to start is because Lamar had got injured, right? Lamar happens to be off for a couple of weeks. Soon as he comes back, you go sit back down. So anybody with a brain should have known that wasn't going to happen. It sounded good conversation, but we all know that wasn't going to happen. So bring it back. Let's have him start against the team that he should have or could have or would have been on. The Ravens. Have him start there. Now, I don't know if they feel, for those that, believe in this 1000%, I don't know if you feel like, do we start him against the Ravens? Because right now the Ravens they have a mission. They're on a mission. I mean, they want to win the division, but first, before they win the division, they have to worry about the other teams that's in front of them for a wild card spot. Like I said, see, until the Steelers go on a losing streak, I'm talking about an actual losing streak, we really can't say anything about them right now. Because yes, I know the Ravens is winning, and I'm talking about the Steelers. If the Steelers keep winning games, which right now they looking shaky, but what I'm saying is, they're gonna have to lose another game next week, right? When the Ravens win next week, then we can start talking about the conversation of the Ravens coming right back and taking the division. Which right now, that's what it's looking like. At least right now, that's what it's looking like. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers having trouble with California teams. Did anybody bet this game? I stood away. Y'all know, especially early in the season, I bet the Chargers a lot. But I ain't know. That's the reason why I ain't even give this game out. I had nothing to say about this game. Right? At first I thought it was like an even game, but I'm glad y'all ain't rock with it if you didn't. Fuck it. Right? So that was that's my takeaway about that game. Right? Come on, man. All right. I could just breeze through them. We talking about today's game. Oh, I mean Atlanta and Indianapolis. I'm on Lobo show. I was off. I said 5.5, right? And I was saying that since it was 5.5, I thought the not the Falcons was gonna lose the game. I mean, win the game, but it shifted literally. I think an hour before I said that, and I still stuck with my whole game plan. I mean, I didn't bet this game, but I'm just saying it was like my thought process, and it actually stood on 6.5 more than anything else, more than the 7.5, more than the 5 and the 4.5, especially 4.5, right? And they ended up winning the game. The Colts, like I said, it is what it is with the Colts. Honestly, I do see a mental breakdown. I do see the NFL giving them a mental breakdown. It's just about when it happens. Because you guys notice I never really have anything to say about the Colts too much, right? Except for Daniel Jones is going to drop down to who he always has been, like whatever his role was. I'm sorry, because to tell you the truth, we don't even really know what quarterback is really good and who's not. Well, obviously he could play both roles well because we see it, right? When he was on the Giants, he played his role as being garbage. He played that good. Well, now he's on he's here on the Colts, right? And we see him playing, right? So I ask you guys, well, is he good or is he not? Is what's the team? So if it is the team, then certain teams need to be regulated. If they just that bad, they need to be kicked out of the sport until they can win enough games on the regulation league to get back on the sport. I think that's how it should be. Because once again, you're gifted for sucking. You're gifted for not being good. You know? So I mean that's how I that's how I feel about that game. Um the Giants in Chicago. I tried to tell
Are
y'all.
you fucking serious?
Even when the Giants was in the lead and the game was damn near over, let's just say, there was no chance in hell I knew the Giants was gonna win that game. I said they're not gonna win this game, even with the clock running out and them in the lead, right? I guarantee you the Bears win that game. I was not worried whatsoever about that game. I swear. I was not worried about that game at all. To me, it was just all about win. I couldn't tell you what was like how they was gonna end up winning the game at all. Like, it was gonna be a touchdown. Is it gonna be this? Is it gonna be that? Giants get the ball back with no interception, then they run it back into the end zone. I don't know, because I was thinking of like so many different scenarios, but I said something is gonna go wrong with the Giants. I feel it. I just don't know what, and I can't tell you what. And that's what happened. People gotta understand that whole dart scatterboo thing. They give the Giants, and I'm surprised you guys don't know this pattern by now. They usually let the Giants look real good, right? They usually give them that for like two weeks or so, right? Two and a half weeks. And what I mean by a half is, they'll be looking good in the first half, and then the second half of the game, that's when they start to be trash. And then the rest of the games after that, they're gonna suck.
You stupid. Oh! Are you fucking serious?
See what I'm saying? So that's what that is with the Giants. I don't know how and why a lot of people put a lot of stock in the New York Giants. I think those who's watching that think is real. I think the Giants is one of the worst teams ever invented. If you really believe all of this, then the Giants is horrible. Let's just hope that this is an act, right? Because you can't really be that horrible like that. Because come on now, I mean, I know you guys could probably say, oh, it's easy for us to say that because we're just like fans watching. We're not the one making the calls. We're not the one spending the money for players and making trades and being coaches, right? But no, at some point, this is why, if this is all real, at some point you have to look at shit and say to yourself, yo, why do we keep doing the same thing and getting the same results? You can't blame Daniel Jones now, assuming this is real, right? Once again, we have to assume this is real, right? So, all right, fine, let's go with that narrative that it is real. Why do these teams keep doing the same things over and over and over? Please don't mention anything about a salary cap. Salary cap or not, why do certain teams keep doing everything, the same thing over and over? Now, I do understand only one team can win a Super Bowl. Yes, I understand that, but it still makes no sense to me how only one team. I mean, no, not one team. A certain team they keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and nothing. Switch the coach up all you want. Switch the players all you want. Something is wrong, right? And this is why I say people gotta be dumb to believe all of this shit. You know? So, I mean, that's that's one game. Um the Bills versus Miami. Bills versus Miami. I'm gonna be honest with you. Who saw that coming? Like seriously though. Like who saw it coming? Because I'm gonna say this. I thought Mike McDaniel was, he was gonna get fired midway through the season, something like that. So honestly, that was my only reason to think the Bills was going to win the game and Miami was going to lose. That's the reason why I'm like, okay, they get rid of Mike McDaniel. This really has nothing to do about the Bills, right? It was more of Miami loses again, no matter who they go against, right? And Mike McDaniel gets fired, and the rest is the rest with the Miami. We'll see what happens, right? We know how that goes. There's always some type of storyline going on, right? But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think the Bills was gonna lose that game, even though it wasn't a game of interest to me because I didn't like the spread. That's the reason why. I didn't like that. It was an 8 to 8.5. You know how it changes around, right? So let's say 8 to 9 because there could be some hours where it stays on a certain number, right? On 9, and then it switches off. But okay, boom, it's on 9, right? So it's like, okay, touchdown Miami, okay, touchdown Miami. And they matter of fact, what I'm trying to say is they keep scoring. They just keep scoring, and they had the Bills defense just let it up. Around the halfway in the third quarter, I said the Bills ain't gonna win, yo, because then I went back into my whole sports betting mode. I said, yo, you don't think these books know? And I was right. Went on Twitter just to do a double check. You know how many people I kept seeing posts in play? Bills at plus 220 in play. Bills at plus 300 in play. Bills at plus 250 like in play. That's all I kept seeing, even at plus 400. Say, yo, I keep seeing this. I'm like, I'm gonna assume they're telling, they're gonna bet it. Let me just say that. I'm assuming that you're gonna bet it, right? So I'm like, a lot of are these books just gonna let this happen? All the books you seeing, yeah, better that MGM, whatever, better that FanDuel, better that DraftKings, the regular shit. I said, nah, and we had the Bills come back already this year, right? We already had that. I don't think they have another game like that where they just come back. That's just my opinion. So the Bills blow a stinker. Now, what's crazy about that is I ask, what do you think is in store for the Bills this year? I know last episode or 2 episodes ago we were speaking about the Bills can possibly go to a Super Bowl. We said something like that. Win it, we don't know. We have to wait till we get there. But we also talked about the 1 and the 4, right? Oh, if the Bills win the Super Bowl, they can become 1-4, right? If it just looked like things are set up for this year. You know, a lot of people have a lot of opinions, but I'm like, shit, with the way they playing now, it's just set for them to even go to the playoffs. I'm not even trying to be funny, right? The whole Josh Allen MVP talks, I'm pretty sure that went away now because Matthew Stafford played good this year. He played good today. So you already know. I think he's like in the lead talks right now, to be honest with you. Now, like officially. Drake May, yes, I see it in the chat. They like pushing him for MVP. We don't know if he really gets it or anything like that, but he's playing well enough through 10 weeks for them to talk about it, right? It just is what it is. They are officially 8-2 too. So you got 3 teams. I'm sorry about that, y'all. You got 3 teams that's 8-2. You got the Patriots, you got Denver, and you got Indianapolis. It kind of feels like the old times, you know, during the Brady era, right? That's what it kind of feels like right now, kind of, sort of. Because, not for nothing, the Kansas City Chiefs, even before Mahomes, they had little, like, there was times when the position they're in now, they've been in those positions too. There's certain teams that got to be the it teams, you know. Look, we're back with the Colts, we're back with Denver, we're back with New England. At least that's 3 for now. The Steelers, however you feel about them, they're still in front in their division, right? So until the Ravens do a flip, right? You know, the Ravens can which is crazy because the Ravens and the Bills and the Chiefs are they're not in front of their divisions. You know what the sportsbooks should do, but then I don't think they're gonna do no shit like that. I'll parlay that the Ravens, Bills, and the Chiefs missed the playoffs, and also a parlay of the Ravens, Bills, and the Chiefs making the playoffs, and have some odds on both of them. Why not? If I was a sportsbook and sportsbooks, I better get my cut for that or something. You should have a bet. There should be a bet saying that Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens to make the playoffs, and then you give the odds, and then do have the no. I mean, I guess you could just have one straight bet, and you could bet the yes or the no, but it's just one straight line, and then it's like yes or no. I think y'all should do that. That'll be, if you want to make some money, sportsbooks, that should probably be some easy money for y'all. Y'all could probably trick a few people. You know, it depends on what y'all have in store. But I'm saying all that to say, like, shit. To the way I looked at today was Bills take a win, right? Patriots take a loss. And even though the Patriots would still be in front of the division, now you see the Bills right there creeping right behind them. And it just makes things kind of interesting. Right? That was my game plan, people. So, like, when I give certain bets, when I give them out, I have game plans, not game plans, but I have a story lined out onto how I see it working, at least for that week, because no one's perfect, but I see it happening and ending like that. That's how I will usually do my bets. But hey, maybe that happens next week, right? Maybe that happens next week. We don't know. Which brings me to the game, a very interesting game that I have my eyes on next week, and it still goes to the what I was just talking about just now. What does that do for the playoffs? Because now that's week 11. I expect some funny shit to happen on week 11. I guarantee you that. Right? I guarantee you something crazy is going to happen. What else we had? Baltimore, Minnesota. I mean, really nothing to say, right? Chat, you guys kind of already knew what the deal was. Ravens. I was not sweating that one bit, even when the Ravens was losing. I wasn't sweating. I said the Ravens is gonna win this game. Y'all know how I feel about McCarthy. McCarthy's a fraud. That wasn't gonna happen. He wasn't gonna win. But still, don't count him out this year. We still have a couple of weeks left. Not a couple of weeks left, but what You got the whole December, the first week of January. We about to hit the second, the halfway through November. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. Yeah, yeah, yep. So Minnesota, I think, still got a couple of wins on their belt, up their sleeve. I believe so. So yeah, shout out to my chat too. I got y'all. We is live week 10 recap. NFL killed a lot of parlays this week. A lot. A lot of people had the Bills on their parlays. Let's be for real. Especially the people that had NBA games and NFL games, right? Tell me I ain't lying. Tell me I am lying. Right? Come on. So a lot of people's parlays got busted today. Because once again, people thought that that spread was going to be a super lie. Oh yeah, see how the spread's that high? Well, I'm not going to say that high, 8 to 8.5. Let's just say 8 to 9, right? Or it's over a touchdown, right? A lot of people just thought that was a lock. That's the same thing that happened with the Lions, right? When the Lions had lost last week, they was 8.5. They lost the game. I don't know. I don't know. It might be something about those 8.5 too. I need y'all to really be careful on games like that. And this is not my opinion. If you notice, something like that always happens. Big spread like that, you take a L. I mean, listen. You guys know. Once again, it ain't my opinion. It keep happening. So I mean, that's what that is. Like, what else? What else, people? We spoke about Cleveland and Jets already. New England and Tampa Bay. I mean, that was the favorite game that I had for you guys. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I was feeling a little weird about that towards not even the second quarter, third quarter. Third quarter, I was feeling a little. I don't know if this is gonna work out. To be honest with you, it was just something about it. So then I started looking like, okay, because the Colts still are the overall number one seed. But I'm like, yo, maybe they would convincingly get the number one overall seed to themselves completely, right? At least for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever. But here we go. The Patriots win again. So the Patriots is damn near tied with the Colts, right? They y'all want me to say they're pushing the Patriots, right? But I just can't. I don't even know if I want to say that, to be honest with you. I mean, they are. But okay, so then let me ask you a question. Are they pushing the Colts too? Because my definition of pushing is a team that is gonna go all the way to the Super Bowl. Or there's some clues that can give us that they're going to the Super Bowl. So it's like maybe I'll find something with the whole Patriots thing, right? But I don't want to say pushing, to be honest with you. I don't see the Patriots winning a Super Bowl. I mean, I don't see it. Right? I mean, I'm sorry, what if they one of those teams that once they get to the playoffs, they fold? So they was really frauds. We don't know. That's why I look at them with a side eye. I do, but I don't know if I could just crown them Super Bowl champions or anything like that just because of how they started. They make sure they give them the weak ass schedule. Yes. It's I don't know what to say, and I'll tell you this much too. As crazy as it sounds. When I watched the Saints, which we might as well get into that game next, right? Because it has connections to do with the Patriots and Tampa Bay. When I watched the Saints versus the Carolina game, I was kind of comparing it with the whole, not comparing it, but snapping them together with the whole Patriots and Tampa Bay's game, because the fact that I'm like, yo, if one team loses, the other team kind of it puts them in a good spot too, right? Like Tampa Bay is in front of they in front of the division. I don't see Carolina just taking it so quick, but they can make things spicy and interesting. Carolina's already in back of them, right? So if Tampa Bay does lose, Tampa Bay can actually, if Carolina loses, Tampa Bay can actually lose. And Carolina seems to have a little buzz right now, even though they lost today. It can make things interesting because once again, we are going in the second half of the season, right? And shout out to everybody that took that damn Saints pick. Shout out to everybody that took that one was that one I just put out. Like I felt confident about it. What I'm trying to say is that I said, yo, that's free money for them. Right? That's free money for them. Like, yo, listen, go get that money, y'all. And yeah, exactly. They won outright. Forget the spread. They won outright. My only reason for picking this game was because of the whole the standings. Carolina versus Saints. Carolina's in front. A lot of people's gonna pick them because of what they did the prior week. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing easily. I knew that was gonna happen. Or at least the Saints covering the spread. Yeah. So I mean that's what it was between those two games. So now they stand behind each other at Tampa Bay's 6-3, Carolina's 5-5. Atlanta's 3-6. New Orleans is 2-6. 2-8. I'm sorry, I stand correct. Right? So I guess they're gonna make things interesting for Tampa Bay and Carolina. But ultimately I do think Tampa Bay is going to win the division. Now, if Tampa Bay ties it up with them at some point, I hope the odds for Tampa Bay winning the division gets way better. And then I'm telling you guys just now, you better take it. You better take it. Right now, you can't. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You want Carolina to at least tie it up in the standings. At least you can get them to tie it up in the standings. Sorry. Then we got something to talk about. Right. What else? What else? What else we had? What else we had? Um, Jacksonville and Houston. Houston did it again. They came back. Houston did it again, and they came back. I always tell people, be very careful on when you bet Houston. Right? I didn't pick this game, so I can't sit there and try to act like I was all over it, right? And I can hit you guys with I told you so, because I wasn't knowing this game, right? Only because with Houston, they like to have late. I feel like they one of those teams in the NFL that calls injuries out late. I don't know if that's part of the script or something. Well, I would think so, right? Well, they have Houston. They tend to do that a lot. Not all the time, but I'm telling you this for sure. They have a record of doing that, right? A big record of doing that. So that's the reason why I stayed away from that game, right? If they didn't have that problem, I probably would have. I would have been on Houston for sure, right? But hey, what if they swap, right? Because not for nothing, they only a game back from each other. You know, Jacksonville's 5-4, while Houston is now 4-5. That's almost like a flip. Like literally, it's a flip, right? So in order to make things exciting for those two, because now, those two would be fighting for, let's just keep it 100, a wild card. You can, because, because the Colts is 8-2, right? And if they possibly keep it up, So I would say don't think about that yet. Think about you getting a 7, 6, or 5 spot. Think about one of those. So you're gonna have to compete with a lot of those teams that's doing so, right? Correct. So it's like, okay, we do that. Don't be surprised if Houston overtakes Jacksonville. You know, hold on. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. So yeah. So that's gonna be a flip, right? 5, yeah, 5-4, 4-5. So I'm gonna do some studying with this division this week. I don't know if you guys notice. I usually pick out divisions that I like every week. I may repeat a division. I may things like that, right? So I pay attention to divisions a lot. Um, I like this division next week. Let me just say that. You don't know what I mean by that, but like my eyes are very focused on you know that division. I think that one's gonna play that one's gonna play out very interesting. Um, I mean, the Chargers is beating the Pittsburgh 15-3. So this game is over. I gotta tell people you gotta be careful when betting not Ravens, the Steelers, unless you just go with their pattern. Let's say whatever day you decide to bet them with the win, they end up winning. Just fade them next week, right? Just fade. Just don't. I'll tell you this: be careful about back-to-back wins. They already did that, like in the beginning of the season, right? Be careful with that. But other than that, I don't know if we're going to see any like back-to-back wins from the Steelers. Well, at least they're in this middle time, maybe towards the end, but you have to be very careful, especially when we already know what it is with Aaron Rodgers. He's just there. It's not like they have anything planned for him real big. He's just there, right? Let's see if I'm wrong. But you got to be careful when it comes to betting the Steelers. Just know when to go in and out. Like last week they had got that win, right? Right against Colts, right? That was a perfect spot to know. Okay, yeah, Steelers is going to win for sure. But now they go against the Chargers. You don't bet that game. You stay away from it. But I'm just letting you guys know. That's a little tip. If they're not, you got to catch the pattern. If you still want to deal with Steelers, catch the pattern. Ride, like what they say, ride the wave. Ride that wave and leave it. That's it. What else? I mean, as far as the games for today, well, the Rams did their thing. I mean, I know how I feel about the Rams. I still keep them somewhere because of the whole Rams and Chiefs situation. I still keep them there, right? But now I see they're starting to catch fire. They are tied with Seattle for the best record in the division, but Seattle gets that. Seattle gets that because they actually beat the Rams. And actually, don't we see the Rams versus Seattle next week? Right? We get Seattle versus the Rams next week. And that's a game that I'm going to give out. That's going to be one of the games. Yes, it is. I already made that decision. I had made that decision since the first time they faced off. Anyway, I said, yeah, the next one, that's going to be one of my picks. Right? But the Rams, they doing their thing. They tied with Seattle, but Seattle owns the tiebreaker. So, I don't know, but well, we ain't speaking about the 49ers, right? But not for nothing, though, what does that do for the 49ers? Right? What does that do for the 49ers? Does it seem like the 49ers is out, or the final 49ers got to fight for a seventh 6 or 5 seed, but then they still got to fight with any team that's on top of them via Rams, right? I'm sorry about that. Yeah, via the Rams or the Seattle Seahawks. It got to be one of those two teams because if you win a division, you win a division. But the other team, right? The highest they can go is 5 and can't go no lower than 7. So the 49ers is going to have to fight with them. Right? I feel like the whole and what the hell did I always say about the 49ers since the beginning of the year? I kept telling y'all they are a half team. Well, they haven't always been like that. Let's stop it. I'm talking about this year. Be careful with the hype. They are only a one half team, half of the season team. Whether it's they trash in the first half and catch fire the second half, or they straight on fire in the first half and they catch hell and end up trash in the second half. It can be one or the other. And I really feel like this is what we're going to get. The second half of the season is going to be growing pains for them. They're going to have them struggle. I think Brock Purdy probably will come back, right? But it just won't be enough. Right? Unless I'm wrong, and let me say this, they catch hellfire, right? Like I'm talking about like they go so hard that the script is crazy for them that they really actually do win. And then they have to figure out what's the situation with Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. That's the only storyline I can see from the whole 49ers thing. Is if they was to win a Super Bowl, the whole storyline is okay, one of these guys got to go, and we just paid Purdy. So Mac Jones, where does he go? Right? Not saying that's going to happen, y'all, but that's the only outcome that I can see when it comes to the 49ers. Because I just don't see them going back and winning the division. I don't know. I don't know. We really gonna have to see, but I think they're gonna have a fight between Seattle or the Rams. It's the second half of the season now. Now you put the seasoning on the meat. So I just want you guys to know that yeah, 49ers and the Cardinals. I mean, I do think they out. There's a lot of teams right now, you know, quote unquote doing their thing, right? So we gotta see what's gonna happen, Captain. I'm curious to know. So what else? What else? I mean, I think we probably spoke about all the games we needed to. Green Bay and Philadelphia. We crossed that bit when it we'll talk about it when it happens, right? Once again, we still want to see how it's going to play out. Green Bay is still not on. They're still not on win number 7, right? They still at 6 because I think they had a bye, right? Yeah, so they're 6-2. If they win, they can become 7-2. People, we've been talking about certain records, right? So they can become 7-2. So I want you guys to keep that in mind for anybody that's betting tomorrow. They can become 7-2, right? Packers can become 6-2-1. Um, I fairly believe that whole one thing is saving the Packers a lot because they shouldn't be number one in their division. I mean, the Lions got their win, right? And then you got Chicago, and yeah, it leads me to say that Green Bay's in trouble, right? Because we still have to. If Green Bay loses tomorrow, let's just say this, y'all. If Green Bay loses tomorrow, I think people may have to fade the Bears or the Lions next week. Whoever you choose. If they still want to keep the Packers in playoff contention. You guys see what I'm coming from? You see where I'm going? Right? Because once again, you gotta pay attention to that AFC West. They doing good. Somebody's gonna win a division, and one of them's gonna be a wild card. So let's just say that other team that's a wild card gets the 5th or the 6th. If Green Bay drops down, it puts the Lions up, right? But if the Bears and the Lions both win and the Packers lose tomorrow, they they're gonna go. Both of those teams is gonna pass the Packers. So the Packers are now damn near a wild card or almost out or something like that. Well, I think the Eagles is the only team that damn near got their division locked. There's nobody they really fighting with, so they're gonna have a playoff spot, right? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, once again, Carolina Panthers is there, so Carolina Panthers will get one of those spots as well, right? So you got to think about that, and then you also got to think about Seattle and the Rams. Both of those teams are winning teams. Somebody's gonna get the division, and the other team is going to get a wild card. So 5, 6, and 7 would be kind of busy. I say all that to say because remember, Green Bay still got the Bears and the Lions that's there too. If both of them win next week, what happens with Green Bay is damn near they're probably pushed out because they're going to become 5-3. Every other team that's going to be a playoff team, including the 5, 6, and the 7 seeds, they're going to have 6 or more wins. You understand what I'm saying? You saw how I broke that down? So basically, we got to look at it like this. Here's a scenario, and make note of this, right? For all of us that's going to do our picks. For all of us that's going to do our picks. If you really think about it, in order for the Green Bay to stay in playoff contention as of now, they actually have to win the game, because if they lose tomorrow, right? Every other team except for, all right, let me change that. They may have one over the Panthers. They might, and then technically that's not, matter of fact, I may be wrong about that. That still probably wouldn't matter. Let's check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, San Francisco actually would be a playoff team. So yeah, the Packers are in trouble, as a matter of fact, because San Francisco will actually have the seventh spot after tomorrow. We gotta say after tomorrow. So you guys see what I'm saying? You saw how I just broke all that down for y'all? Make sure y'all watch this playback before y'all do y'all picks. I think I started saying that in the 50th mark, something like that. Around the 50 and up. I had to bookmark it for y'all, right? So the 50-minute mark and up. Maybe I started at 52 minutes, 53 minutes, or whatever. I started talking about the whole situation with the Packers game tomorrow. So once again, you guys heard what I said. The Packers have to win tomorrow in order to be considered a playoff team, because if they lose, they don't even actually hold the 7th spot. The 49ers actually will hold the 7th spot. And the only reason why we can't say Carolina will hold that 7th spot is because they will be 5-5. So actually they'll hold the 9th spot, while the Packers will hold the 8th spot. I'm not writing none of this down too, y'all. I'm telling y'all straight off of just the knowledge. 22-3 charges. I mean, what else we thought was gonna happen?
Are you fucking serious?
Right? Right? And shit, I mean, I can say the same thing about what's going over there with the Chiefs. They got to be careful. Buffalo got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get back to that. For everybody that's watching, do you understand what I'm saying? If any of you guys are going to make a bet tomorrow, right? Be careful on what game you bet on. That's on you, right? I'm talking about the ones that's listening. What I'm trying to say is, I know this is still quote unquote kind of early, right? But still, we are in November now. Things start to shake up for a little bit, right? The Packers, they lead the division, yes. But if they lose tomorrow, y'all, just hear me out. If they lose tomorrow, they officially get bumped out of the playoffs. Now, no, it's not official. Of course, this not official. Wait. You said no, Mello. You said Packers stay at 7 if they lose because of The tie? Nah, no. I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Nah. Hear me out. Hear me out, Mello. I'm gonna tell you why that's inaccurate. Right? The tie break, yes. Now, but that's only if another playoff team had the same amount of wins as them. But here's the thing. If the Packers lose tomorrow, right, Mello? Hear me out. If the Packers lose tomorrow, Cowboys is already out because that was the team they tied with. Cowboys is not even in the standings right now. If they win, if the Packers lose tomorrow, right? Lose. There would be 7 teams in the NFC that will have 6 or more wins because the Packers only have 5 wins right now. So if they lose, they're stuck on 5, at least for this week. But there's 7 teams above them. I'm sorry, y'all. There's 7 teams above them that have 6 wins or more. You get what I'm saying? So y'all get me, right? And assume the Eagles win tomorrow, right? The Eagles already have 6 wins already, right? But then they'll have 7 tomorrow, right? So that's 1, right? So that's 1 team, right? Um Detroit, hold on. Yeah, Detroit and the Bears will go on top. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Because they all will have the same amount of losses. Just hear me out. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all can disregard everything I'm saying, and I take this back, right? But what I'm trying to say is, if Green Bay loses, they'll have 3 losses, just like Detroit and the Bears, right? Fine, that's fair enough. They'll all have the same amount of losses, but wouldn't Detroit and the Bears have the same? They will have more wins, right? The Bears and Detroit Lions will have more wins. Somebody let me know if I'm wrong about that, or would they all just be a 3-way tiebreaker? Because the Packers will be on 5. They'll be on 5 wins. Now, once again, to finish what I'm saying, then you also have, okay, yeah, these are all the teams that's gonna have more wins than the Packers, right? These are all the teams that's gonna have more wins than the Packers. Eagles, Lions, Chicago. That's 3, right? Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, right? Seattle, that's 5. Los Angeles Rams, and the 49ers. That's 7 teams that will have more wins than the Packers. So I'll say this: Mello probably should be correct, then, right, Floyd? Right? We have to give Mello his props on that when he said, "Well, Packers stay at 7 if they lose because of the tie." Okay, that's what he's saying. Packers stay at 7 if they lose because of the tie. So 8 and 9 will belong to the who would 8 and 9 who would who would get 8 and 9 then? 8 and 9 would have to go to who gets wait. So who gets pushed out? Somebody gets pushed out. We not I didn't even put Carolina in there. So just let you guys know. We don't even put Carolina in there because they're at 500. They're 5 and 5. Who gets pushed out? Do the 49ers get pushed out? Right? If I'm correct, the 49ers get pushed out. It can't be Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're already on top of the division. Can't be the Eagles. Yeah, Carolina. Yeah. You're right, Melo. Carolina is out. Yeah. Panthers. We already know that because Panthers is at 500. So we already. Yeah. Just to tell you, they already out for sure. That's why I'm not even bringing them in the conversation. No matter what was going on with the Packers, the Panthers don't even have a winning record. They're 5-5. Mm. So do you guys think the NFL? This is how the NFL. Well, we all know they do shit on purpose, right? But do you think that's how they designed it to have the Packers that tie is what's actually saving their ass, right? And you want to know what's so funny, Floyd? You want to know what's so funny, Poppy? You want to know what's so funny, Mello, and the rest of y'all, Mark, right? You want to know what's so funny about all this, right? For some reason, don't be surprised if that tie actually saves them into like having success from here on out, right? Because it seems like even teams that has a better record than them, the Packers is still put on the, and this is the reason why this the reason why I kind of hate the way they do the playoffs. I really do think it should go straight to record, right? Number one obviously gets the bye, but you got the number two versus the seven, right? And no, they do this, but I'm talking about as far as what your actual record is. Because as you guys see every single year, there's always one team in a division that has damn near almost the fewest losses, but yet they have the right to get the number 4 seed. And you want to know what's so funny, real quick? That brings me back to what I kept saying versus a 1 versus a 4. Is Green Bay going to be the worst division leading team this year? Right? Are they going to be the worst and then they end up with the number 4 spot? I don't know. I'm just asking. So a lot of you guys are saying that you feel like this was there for a reason for them to be in place where they supposed to be. Is that what you guys are saying? Because if so, I kind of like it. I can't. I'm not saying that you guys is bugging. I actually like how that sound. If that's what you're saying, if that's what you're implying, because once again, let's assume that the Philadelphia Eagles win the division, right? We only got to say that because of how Dallas is playing, right? Because Dallas is technically in second. So let's just well, one of them have to win, right? Let's give Philadelphia to win the edge to win the division, right? The overall seed or something like that. Maybe they could be three. Who knows, right? Then you got Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Even though Carolina's right behind them, but then them two teams is gonna have to suck along with the Packers in order for the Packers, because you still got to see where do you put the Packers. Are you putting them in a 2, 3, or 4 seed? You guys get what I'm saying? Because then you got the Seahawks and you got the Rams. Sadly enough, with the way both teams is playing, right? You would think that one of them deserved the number 1 seed, right? Because it's like they both evenly match right now, right? Because last time I checked, those are the only two 7-2 teams in the NFC right now. Now, if the not Panthers, bro, if the Eagles win tomorrow, they can be the third team to be 2-7, 7-2. I repeat, 7-2. I'm sorry, I take that back. Now, I'm not sitting there and telling y'all go along with that. I'm not. You know that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is This is why I always say on these shows, we have to pay attention to everything. We can't just bet one game based on who we like and who we don't like. A lot of these games have a lot to do with each other. Next week is going to prove that too. Which goes to, well, yeah, before we get out, but which goes, I'm saying all of this, every single thing I'm saying goes back to next week. Tampa Bay versus Buffalo. I know we was just talking about the NFC, right? But if Tampa Bay, if Tampa Bay wins, right, like they just they got to fight for that division because the Panthers is right there behind them, right? So if Tampa Bay gets it, all right, so be it. But you know, the team that's in quote unquote trouble, everybody's been heavy on the Bills. What happens with the Bills? Now they can be another team that's in trouble. You got New England, they number one in their division. Even with the Steelers losing, they're gonna be number one in their division after this week. So you still gotta put them up there. The Colts, that's three teams right there. Denver Broncos, that's four teams right there. So that's four teams right there that lead their division. Where do the Bills fit in? Do they fit in anywhere? Right? They do. They do for sixth spot. Right now they're like in sixth place altogether. So it's like, is it gonna be one of these things where they're fighting for a 5, 6, or 7 spot? I mean, they could fight for a 5, 4, or 3, but the Patriots would have to do bad, and Buffalo would have to be good and so, and it depends where they land if they was to steal a division in a 5, I mean in a 4, 3, or 2 spot. I don't think they're getting the number 1 spot. I don't think so. So it's like depending on how bad these division leaders do, it can still help them. That's why every game, once again, works out for each other. Now, that's why I also asked, are we going to see the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens all in the playoffs at the same time? Because somebody's going to get embarrassed. And not for nothing, we already know what the script is for Lamar in the playoffs. We already know what the script is for Josh Allen in the playoffs. It's for both of them to lose to Patrick Mahomes.
Are you fucking serious?
We know that, right? So my thing is, like I said a couple of shows ago, do they have that happen again? We've seen it 1, 2, 3, 4. We've seen it a million times. Do they have that happen once again? That's what I want to know. At this point, somebody shouldn't make it to the playoffs out of all three of them. When it comes to Patrick Mahomes, shit, maybe he shouldn't make the playoffs. Maybe it looks better for Josh Allen or Lamar, right? Or maybe Josh Allen don't make it to the playoffs, right? It can save him from that whole thing of going against a Patrick Mahomes if they was to meet. If. And once again, I'm starting to have my doubts on that once again because the NFL kept talking about it so much. Like they're gonna meet in the playoffs. How the fuck you know they're gonna meet in the playoffs? You guys get what I'm saying, right? Shout out to my chat. I'm gonna get to y'all soon. I see y'all. You know, so what happens with we what happens with Buffalo, right? So far they in like the sixth spot, right? You got other teams that's and then you know what I also say? If it's set for them to win, you also have to think about the teams that's right above them. They gonna have to start losing too, right? Got to think about that. They all have something to do with each other. It's like some this scenario, this scenario. You know what? I thought about it. I thought about something funny. Not something funny. I was looking at the standings today, and you know, we all know it's too early to call who's gonna win in the Super. I mean, not who's gonna win, but who's gonna face off in the Super Bowl, right? We all know that. We all know. But you know what? You know what I thought about something funny. I wouldn't mind seeing this Super Bowl matchup. Now that I think about it, I wouldn't mind. See, let me say it again. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I no. but it'll be interesting with the way things are going on today so far. I would love to see it. I would love to see a Seattle versus New England Patriots part two.
Are you fucking serious?
I swear I would not. I I swear I would be very interested in seeing that. Now I know that's kind of far fetched, right? I mean, we've seen quarterbacks, second year quarterbacks, go to Super Bowls or whatever. We've seen it, but I would like to see a Seattle versus a New England part two. I think it'll have a lot of nostalgia to it. It would have what they I what would Richard Sherman be a part of the commentary and shit, right? What's his name? Beast Mode, right? Is Beast Mode gonna, because he's a photographer now for the NFL, right? Or with the NFL. Is he gonna be taking photographs of the game, right? Are they gonna have Russell Wilson stupid ass in the stands or some shit like
Are
that?
you fucking serious?
Is it going to be a part two? I mean, there's something to talk about. It's history there. I would like to see that. I would like. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not. And plus, I was laughing because I'm like, yo, this can be 11 years since that game, if I'm not mistaken. That can be 11 years, and we all know I briefly touched on the number 11. The number 14 and the number 11 is involved with each other some way, somehow. And then, also the difference between that is 3. They always going to find a way to put the 3 in there, right? And I remember I spoke about 11. I spoke about it, but I would like to see that. Yeah, yeah. You said Seattle versus the Rams Super Bowl, Mark. I don't know about that one. Floyd says I do see a injury coming for one team, but I'm not sure. Of course, listen, Floyd. Death taxes, and the injury. Come on now, we already know that's going to happen. You said for the NFC championship. Oh my God, I would. Well, first of all, I'll be like a kid in the candy store if that happened. If that happened, son, can't tell me nothing on that one. What? What? Hope I would love to see that. Now, who's gonna win? I still got to see what they got for this year going on. But in a way, I mean, not even. I mean, I see this whole LA thing going on because we already know they got to gear up for the Olympics. So they're pushing LA teams hard, not even in just one sport, but they pushing them, right? So I can see it. I can see it happening. Seattle versus the Rams. I mean, if yeah, I already know I'm going. I don't know. I got to see how next week game goes, or what's the rest of the storyline, and that's the reason why I brought the Rams up. But I won't be surprised if y'all know I'm rolling with Seattle if that happens. Y'all know I'm rolling with Seattle if that happens. I would love to see what the line is and who's playing because the whole injury thing and all that shit. But I would love to see that happen. Steelers versus Seahawks Super Bowl rematch. Hasselback versus Big Ben. You know what it is? You know what it is, y'all. I mean, because I hear y'all talk. Say Steelers. I mean, I can see it, but I don't know what they got in store for the Steelers. There's too much inconsistencies, right? So that's why I tell people you got to be careful on shit, even betting on them because you just don't know. Like shit, we sitting there trying to say they can go to the playoffs, but them motherfuckers can't win no games. So I don't blame all y'all when y'all say that. Remember, I said my actual dream NFL matchup for this year, is to see the Steelers versus the Packers. I said I want to see that, even though we saw them face off in the regular season. But Super Bowl wise, I think that was the perfect way to do it. Shit, have Aaron Rodgers go against his Jordan Love once again and lose once again, right? Let's have something like that happen. I mean, that was my dream matchup, but once again, I can't still go with that because the Steelers, they just have to lose for some reason. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the only thing I can be conflicted of if I see Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Seattle. That's one game that I'll be confused about if I see in the playoffs. For real, for real. Like I'll be confused about that one as far as the playoffs. Um the Packers against Seattle, I'll be conflicted with that one as well. Right? I think any team that I also had hopes on goes against Seattle, I'll be kind of confused. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. You know. And one thing I don't like about what the books is doing is being that they have the Packers be so. They're being very stingy on the playoff lines with the Packers, which probably leads me to believe that the Packers are going to make it to the playoffs. But like the odds that they give, it's like they don't want to do it. Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers catching that ass whipping, right? Shit, shout out to the Chargers. Shout out to the Chargers. That's what's up. Now, um, with the Chargers winning, y'all, that brings them up to 7-3. Kansas City Chiefs is 5-4. And once again, kind of like what I was talking about with Packers and even the Bills, the Chiefs is kind of in the same situation. And well, let me see. Let me be fair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they'll have like a tie for the 7th spot in a way. The Chiefs would. They'll have a tie in the 7th spot with the Jaguars. That's what I can see. Jaguars and the Chiefs. Well, that's not what I can see. That's what it is. But I could see something like that happening. Now, do they got a runner for Texas? Does Texas have a run in them? Who knows? Because Texas can be on the Jaguars' ass, like I said, like maybe an hour ago. So, I mean, do they take down the Jaguars and help the Chiefs? Every game has a lot to do with each other once again, like I keep telling you, right? It's going to get very interesting. Do the Broncos stay afloat? Do they stay afloat? Or do they come crashing down? What happens? The Chargers is going to get this win. So the Chargers is technically kind of like one game back on them as far as winning, but they have one more loss than them. You know? Yeah. Shout out to anyone that was on the Chargers game. There's a lot. Couldn't touch that game. There was so many scenarios like I'm breaking down now, so I'm like, I don't know. Right? Um, sometime this week, out of one of our show, maybe it'll be on our regular show we do on Wednesday, or should it be a random us or I'm sorry, I can't even get my words right. A segment. I'm gonna do some. I want to talk about like I know we talk about rig scripted shit a lot in sports, but from football, right? I want to do when I go live. I want to ask you guys, what is your favorite, or who has the best? Which team has the best jerseys in sports? Which team has the best jerseys in sports? I think that would be a good segment that we can talk about on on Wednesday when we go live. I think that can be a good segment. Like, who has the best jerseys? It could be NFL. We're gonna talk about the ones in NFL and NBA. I wish we had that conversation during MLB. It's like, damn, do I want to have the MLB talk and it's already over? But we could bring that up. Hockey. Like, who has the best jerseys? I want to have a nice segment with y'all about this one. I mean, I know I have mines. I have my two, three, something like that. I just want to see who has the best ones. So and why. I want to know why. Is it because the team history, or is it because the style or the colors. You can match it with anything, things like that. I want to have that show. Like, what's the best jerseys? Like, and also I want to look them up. Like when I'm in the chat and I hear y'all say certain jerseys, I need to know the specific year too. If I already don't know it, but like somebody say the throwback, I'm like I need to know the give me the year. Like, is it the 1988 such and such throwbacks? Because how teams rotate jerseys and change their jerseys up, and they all throwbacks. So which year throwback are y'all talking about? So that would be funny. Not funny, but that would be fun. You know. So yeah, I have to, for everybody listening. I have to give a shout out to my guys that came here on the chat. They could have been anywhere in the world, but they was here with me. We had we had a good one. We had a good one. But listen, the shout outs gotta happen because I have a bunch of bombs ready to go, 9/11 style. Did I just say that? No offense. But I need to know the jerseys. Well, we got Adrian Settles. He had came through and stepped in the goddamn building. Adrian Settles dropped a bomb. My man Reserved Intelligence. He came by, stopped in the building. Reserved Intelligence. Please drop a bomb for my man Reserved. Yeah, my man Duke. D-E-W with the W. 83 in the goddamn building. Hey, yo, D, what's up, my guy? Can I get a bomb, please? We already know my man Mark Horsfield. He came in the goddamn building, and all of y'all better guard your children. Hey, yo, Mark, what's up, my guy? That's right. Floyd Heavyweather, you already know he came through and all that tonight. He came through and blessed the chat with some good shit. Actually, all y'all did, and that's what I like hearing. This was a nice random one, and y'all still came through, and that's why I love y'all. My rig scripted, fix, guys, drop a bomb. My man Native Baltimore in the goddamn building. Yo, Baltimore, I know you see your Baltimore team doing what they do. Can I get a bomb for that? Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. What else? Who else? Yeah, my man Ricardo Alderney, he came in the goddamn building. You already know. Ricardo, see what I said about the Texans? And again, what's so crazy? That should have been the shit that I sent y'all. But listen, they did it again. I'm trying to tell y'all, you gotta know when to fuck with the Texans and when not to. And I told y'all, I got y'all with that shit. Right? My man Bill Fay all day. He's like Bills with the LOL. Hey yo, Bill, chill Bill, you already know, right? That's why we stood away from that game. That's the reason why we stood away from that game. Now we gotta see what happens next week with the Bills and with the Bills in Tampa Bay, and that's a real game. That's a game of interest that I really, really like. But we're gonna talk about it. I want to know y'all thoughts when we go live on Wednesday, because that's gonna be a very important game, especially both of them, right? Bomb. Who else we came through? Who else came through? Oh yeah, Jamar Maddox. He came through. He came through. He's like, yeah, I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't want to believe it. And he must be talking about the Bills game, right? Right? That's what you was talking about, right, Jamal? Bomb, please. That's what I'm talking about. Dancing Poppy definitely came in. He came through in the chat and dropped some biz arms. My man, Dancing Poppy. Bomb, please. That's what I'm talking about. We in the building. Better guard your children. Nintendo freak. He came through and blessed the chat. He was like, "Yo, they didn't burn me." He did some research and no. Floyd had said that. He said the 6, 7, 8, and 9 ways to $10 and be rapping AZ. I never do single bets. Yeah, see, sometimes with certain teams, like, you just cannot put them on a ticket, and I can burn shit. I got burned today with a random ticket I did, right? And that's the one that I showed you guys, right? I did good. I did very good today with the single bets. I did very, very good with that. But I just wanted to let people know, like, something, I was transparent about a bet that I said, yo, let me just try it. Let me just do it. And I put the wrong game on it, even though that was my favorite game. I was stupid. Yeah, but truth being in a goddamn building, truth being triple eight. Let's drop a bomb for triple eight. I'm sorry, in the goddamn chat, because he said if my Packers lose, they'll drop to third place in the NFC, and I'll put them in trouble. Wait, see, this is what I'm saying. I think he said the same thing. We're gonna have, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna have a talk with that. We're gonna have a talk, especially, let's wait till tomorrow. Matter of fact, let's wait till tomorrow, and then we're gonna have a conversation about the whole Packers dropping off, they stay the same. Because tomorrow will tell it all. Truth on that info. Mello the Great, you already know my guy. He came through in the building. My man Mello, Jello Mello in the goddamn building. Bomb, please. That's what I'm talking about. I think the chat was with the same old guys. The chat. Oh, King Poet, he got there in the building. He came in the building. King High Priest, I'm sorry. He said Packers was 7th seed last year. And yes, they was. Do they become 7th seed twice in a row? 2-7? Let me know. I like that one. King High Priest, bomb, please. My man X Reckless. You know Reckless came through. Reckless, y'all better give me your necklace. Yep, you saw the dog. Yeah, the dog. I saw your Dolphins comment. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I broke all that info in my head. Of course, I had got that. Shout out to you on that one. I saw that. Yeah. Okay, what was that? No, that was you. You said that already. Yeah. NFL loves to repeat Super Bowls. They do love to repeat Super Bowls. I'm saying, don't be surprised if it happens. You know, Moon Smith in the goddamn building. Moon Smith, I like that name. Yeah, my man Moon Smith. You already know my guy. But yeah, it was a good day. You know, right, Moon? We had a good day. It was alright. It wasn't bad. Truth is saying the Packers is gonna win it all. Hey, listen. 2 years ago, I said it. You know, that was a prediction of mine 2 years ago. We actually still have that show from not 2 years, the beginning of 2024, whatever. If the Packers win, we're going to do a show on me predicting that. So, yeah, I mean, listen. I would love to see Packers and Seahawks in the finals. Right? Worst comes to worst, I would love to see Tampa Bay versus the Rams. You know what I'm saying? It could be one of those 4 teams, however, but I would love to see those two NFC champion matchups. So shout out to you on that one. You know, we had a nice good show, right? And next week, I think we can rebound and do something. And the reason why I'm saying rebound, because I'm talking like it was a bad week, and it wasn't. We only lost one game. Members, we only lost one game. For everybody that is listening and you ever thought about get down, we only lost one game. The same thing happened last week, depending on what parlay or no, what email you had got on, because the original email last year was with the Bills, and they won. They beat the Chiefs, and we smoked the whole weekend. Now I made an updated email, and I told people change the Bills from the to the Chiefs, and that's the one that lost. Right? But other than that, every other game smoked. So, I mean, we usually have this often, but I feel good, especially the last 2 weeks. Let's see what we can do this week. Any game I feel fishy about, I'm gonna leave alone. To be honest with you, let's have another one. And shit, I'm gonna be in Vegas next weekend. So I'm gonna try to live stream while I'm in Vegas. Right? I'm gonna try to live stream while I'm in Vegas. But yeah, I'm gonna be out there again, watching the games. Right? So it is what it is. Saturday, I definitely got to cook up some college games for y'all and with y'all, right? And Sunday, you already know. I told you we got to pay attention to that Bills and Tampa Bay. We got to see what's going on with that game, right? Like, you guys get what I'm saying. Right? I need to know what's happening with that game with Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? What's happening with the Bills, right? Is it time for the Bills to not make the playoffs? You know, things of that nature. Y'all know the conversations, right? So, like, yeah, the 8.5, the 8.5. I mean, yeah, something about them 8.5s and people losing, right? That's why I don't like those type of spreads, man. And it's not even, yeah, the numbers is too high, but it's always some dumb shit that happens, and you guys saw it. Fuck what I'm saying. You saw it. So we gotta see what happens, man. Come on, y'all gotta stop playing. But next week, I want us to have fun. I want us to drop some heat next week. And once again, I still need to know what y'all jerseys is, and things of that. Damn, I should have played the Jets. No. Okay, yeah. You talk about on I picked the Browns. You talking about on Lobo's show, right, Reckless? Let me know if that's what you're talking about. Trey Finesse, he had came through. Trey Finesse, make sure you watch that. You gotta watch that. Whatchamacallit? You gotta watch that playback, my guy. We had a good ass show. Trey Finesse in the building. My man Trey always blessing through. Bomb, please. So Reckless, you talking about on Lobo's show, right? Because I don't think I gave that. That wasn't a pick I gave out. But you probably talking on the show, and I switched over, right? Because I wanted to say the Jets, and then I switched over and say, let me get Cleveland, right? I think that's what happened, right? Yeah. I apologize for that one, but I'm still sticking to what I said about Shador. Me personally, I think they have to lose. They have to keep losing in order to justify putting Shador in. Because right now, that's the only reason. That's the only reason, guys. Now listen, that's the only reason why they That's the only reason why they're gonna put him in. Because quote unquote Dylan Gabriel is the Jets tribute was an easy pick. Of course. Oh my God, what? That's the reason why I gave that shit out. Like, y'all better take them goddamn Jets. And wait, when was that? Was like that was 2 weeks ago, right? When I had gave that one out. Yeah, on Lobo's show. Yeah. That's because I read something wrong, right? And I should have stuck with what I usually say, right? Because I kept talking about the whole Shador Sanders, because that's what I was saying. Yeah, Shador Sanders. That's the only way to justify putting him in, because if Dylan Gabriel and the Browns is winning, why put him in? You know that term, right? Because if this is real, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So what the fuck you gonna do that? It's no, and then I switched. So yeah, my bad on this one, but I'm so glad that wasn't a pick that I felt, I wanted to just get a world and shit like that. But Cleveland, until they push Shador in, maybe I'll pick them more. You know what I'm saying? I'll pick them more if they do that. But other than that, I gotta see something. I gotta see something. So, y'all gotta make sure y'all like and subscribe for everyone that's not. This is where you gonna get the real football breakdown. Shout out to everybody, shout out to everybody else that's not in the red community, but people that's in the red community is where you get the real breakdown and the real truth about sports. And, you know, here, and I also want to say for all the new people, here on Rig and Scripted and Fixed, you are allowed to come in here and um hate. I'm not gonna say hate on another team, but talk shit about a team and me not take it personal. Because what I'm trying to say is, a lot of people have fanboy, the fanboy YouTubers, right? Where they have a favorite team, and you'll get banned if you don't talk good about their team. Like, it doesn't go like that here. Whatever team you think is trash, you think is trash because we're biased to no one. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Me, the host, I'm biased to nobody, and I'd rather it be that way when I have you guys coming here, because it's better that way, because you guys have your opinions on the teams y'all rock with, and so all of y'all can come in here and talk about the teams that y'all rock with, whether it's because you think it's real, whether it's just business, whether it's because that's the city or state you from, but you could do that here, right? And we talk about all the bullshit from every team. No team is exempt. I want to let you know that now. No team, every team, even team that I say I think is going to win the Super Bowl, they still going to get it. So what's going to happen? The Jets have a chance to go 3 by upsetting New England next week, but later on Wednesday we'll talk about that. Does that happen? Who knows? We had a great night, man, right? So, I'm gonna go relax and me chill and see what type of news I get too. I'll be on Twitter and shit like that. And Yeah, I need to know from y'all. Is it rigged? Is it fixed? I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Is it rigged? Is it scripted? Is it fixed? I don't know. You tell me. I'm out.